Two trolleys, the same 14 items in each one. Same milk, same bread, same eggs, same everything. At the checkout, one of them costs about $18 more than the other. Not once. Every single week, you do that shop. That's not a blogger with a spreadsheet, and it's not one lucky trip on one lucky day. It's a study the federal government paid $1.1 million to run across 104 supermarkets in 27 towns and suburbs from the cities to the regions. And it has come back with the same answer every quarter since 2024. So we're not going to make you sit through 20 minutes to hear it. The cheapest supermarket in Australia is Aldi. The maths isn't close, and the maths doesn't lie. But that's the boring part because most of you already suspected it. The interesting part is the three questions nobody actually answers. By how much? Really, once you compare like for like. The one product where even Aldi gets beaten, and it's one your family probably buys every Christmas. And the twist at the end of this, the one the good guy videos never reach. The cheapest supermarket in the country is also, according to the competition regulator, one of the most profitable on earth. Both of those are true at the same time. 8 reasons, counting down to the one they'd least like you to sit with. Let's follow the money. Before we count, here's the ground we're standing on, because it changes what cheapest even means. 2 chains, Woolworths and Coles. Take about 67 cents of every single dollar Australians spend in a supermarket. Woolworths 38, Coles 29, Aldi is 9. The independents, the IGAs supplied by Metcash, about 7. So this isn't a fair fight between equals. It's one small German operator with a fraction of the stores holding the line against 2 giants that between them own the aisle you walk down. The regulator has a word for what Aldi does to that aisle. It calls Aldi a hard discounter, an important source of price constraint on the big two. Read that back slowly. It means that without Aldi sitting in the car park across the road, there's very little stopping Coles and Woolworths from charging whatever the two of them quietly settle on. Aldi isn't just the cheap option. Aldi is the reason the other two can't relax. And that matters more than ever because grocery prices have become a national argument. There have been Senate inquiries, a full competition investigation, front pages, politicians on the 6 o'clock news. 2/3 of a country's food money runs through 2 companies, and the whole nation has started asking the same question you're asking right now. Are we being done over? By the end of this, you'll have the closest thing to an answer that exists on the public record. So this is the story of how one chain stays cheap, exactly what it costs you to shop there, and who is still getting rich, no matter which trolley you push. Let's get into it. Number 8, the receipt that started all of this. June 2024. Choice. The consumer group behind the Shonky Awards, the people who exist to embarrass companies for a living, publishes its very first basket survey under a brand new government contract. 14 everyday products, not a trick basket, the kind of shop you actually push out the door. The Aldi basket came to $51.51. The same 14 items at Woolworths, $68.58. At Coles, $69.33. Sit with the size of that gap. Aldi came in around 25% cheaper than either of the big two, a quarter off the same shop. But here's the detail that tells you everything about how this market really works. Between Coles and Woolworths themselves, the two supposedly fierce rivals, there were 75 cents in it. 75 cents. 2 companies, 2/3 of the entire market, and they landed within the price of a servo coffee of each other on the exact same trolley. That's not 2 rivals fighting, that's a photo finish between 2 horses from the same stable. And understand why the government had to pay for this at all. For years, the only price comparisons Australians ever got came from the supermarkets themselves. Their own ads, their own down tickets, their own numbers. A company marking its own homework isn't evidence, it's marketing. This was the first time someone independent, properly funded, walked in and did the maths for us. And it wasn't a one-off stunt. The government committed that money over 3 years to keep it running, quarter after quarter, which means it is still running right now. Every few months, independently, someone walks back into those aisles and checks whether anything has changed. It hasn't. That's number 8. Now, the question that actually matters, was it a one-off? Number 7, it wasn't a one-off. It's every single quarter. It was not a fluke. Every quarterly survey choice has run since that first one. Aldi has come out cheapest on the full basket. Every time. Watch the receipts stack up. The next quarter, with specials counted in, Aldi $50.79, Coles $66.22, Woolworths 68.37, and IGA all the way out at 78.95. The quarter after that, Aldi $50.63, and the big two still stuck in the high 60s. Different season, different products, same result. The order behind Aldi shuffles. Some quarters Coles edges ahead of Woolworths. Some quarters Woolworths edges ahead of Coles, but the top of the table never moves and the bottom never moves either. IGA, the independents, come last almost every round, the most expensive of the lot. Then came the one that really landed. Late 2025, Choice priced a full Christmas shop. 20 items, the entertaining basket, the trolley you dread in December. Aldi, $72.41. Woolworths, $98.98. Coles, $100.04. On the shop that hurts the most, in the month it hurts the most, the gap blew out to nearly $30. And it isn't only the big baskets. Go shelf by shelf and you can watch it happen in real time. A dozen large eggs, Aldi $4.29, Coles $4.50, Woolworths $4.60. A kilo of middle bacon, Aldi $11.69, Woolworths $11.70, Coles a full $13. Half a kilo of beef mince, Aldi $5.99, Woolworths $6, Coles $6.50. One published comparison ran a whole trolley of everyday items through all three chains and landed on Aldi around $200, Woolworths $207, Coles $214. Same trolley, $14, gone. Not the marketing. The receipt. And this is not two blokes wandering the aisles with a clipboard. Choice uses trained, accredited mystery shoppers. 104 stores, 27 locations chosen for spread, city, and bush. Wealthy postcodes and struggling ones. They even do the shopping between Thursday and Tuesday on purpose to step around the Wednesday price changes that could skew a result. In the first year alone, doing this properly cost tens of thousands of dollars in trained shoppers' time and real groceries. Nobody spends that to make a company look good for free. This was built deliberately to be hard to argue with. Now, a promise I'm going to keep, because the honest channels keep them. Aldi wins the basket every quarter. Does it win every single item every quarter? No, it doesn't. There is one product where Coles and Woolworths beat it clean, and it's one a lot of Australian families put on the table every year. Hold that thought. It's number 4, and I'm not going to skip it. That's 7. The pattern is real, it's independent, and it's relentless. So how does Aldi actually do it? Number 6, 90% of what you're holding isn't a brand. Walk into an Aldi and something feels slightly off, and it takes most people a minute to place it. It's the names. You don't recognize them. Parkwood, Ocean Rise, Chausseur, Mamiya. These aren't the brands you grew up with. They're all Aldi. In its own submission to the regulator, Aldi put a number on it. More than 90% of everything it sells is its own exclusive label. Now compare that to a Coles or a Woolworths, where the shelf is a wall of national brands, and every one of those brands carries an advertising budget, a marketing team, a sponsorship deal, all of it baked into the price you pay at the register. You've been funding the ad you saw during the footy. It was hiding in the biscuit. Here's the part that stings. A lot of those own label products roll off the very same production lines as the brands they sit beside, made by the same manufacturers under a different label for a fraction of the price. You were never paying for a better biscuit. You were paying for the name printed on it. Then there's the range. Aldi told the regulator it carries around 1,800 products. A full-size Coles or Woolworths carries somewhere between 20 and 25,000. Think about what that does to the cost of running the place. Fewer products means Aldi buys each one in enormous volume, which means it squeezes suppliers harder on price. Less range means less warehouse, less logistics, less spoilage, fewer staff hours to pay for. And then it gets almost aggressive. The reason your trolley needs a coin? That coin means Aldi doesn't pay anyone to collect trolleys from the car park. You return your own to get your dollar back. The reason the products sit in the cardboard boxes they arrived in? That's not laziness. It means a worker slices a box open and slides it straight onto the shelf instead of stacking tins one by one. One person does the job of 3. Add it up, and an Aldi store runs on a skeleton crew that would leave a Coles half empty. Fewer wages, faster restocking, smaller buildings, less floor to light and cool. None of that is cutting corners on what's in the tin. It's cutting corners on everything that isn't the tin. Here's the whole model in one sentence. You are not buying cheaper quality at Aldi. You are refusing to pay for the marketing, the shelf stacking, and the trolley boy on everything else. The brand tax, the labour tax, the lot. Aldi just took it off the ticket. That's 6. And there's one more thing Aldi took off the ticket. Something in your wallet right now that you've been trained to think of as a saving. Number 5. The card you don't carry. There is no everyday rewards at Aldi. No flybys, no points, no app, no member price, no little card on the keyring. And Aldi treats that as a feature, not a gap. Here's why it matters, and the regulator said this part out loud. The competition watchdog looked hard at the loyalty and promotional programs the big supermarkets run and found they make it genuinely difficult for shoppers to work out what they're actually paying, and even harder to compare one store against another. So let's be honest about what a loyalty program really is. It gives you a little bit back in a currency the shop invents and controls in exchange for a complete record of everything you have ever bought. And it splits the shelf price into 2 numbers, the member price and the normal price, so the sticker in front of you means less than it used to. That's not a gift. It's the polite name for making the maths harder, right at the moment you're trying to compare. Aldi's entire version of loyalty is just a low number on the ticket. No card, no swipe, no points to chase. Whether that's generosity or just a leaner machine that can't be bothered, I'll let you decide. But it is one less thing standing between you and knowing exactly what you paid. That's 5. Now, a quick word, because number 4 is the honest one. And this is the exact point where most channels have already lost you. If you've made it this far, you already know this channel isn't in the business of telling you where to shop. It's here to show you what's printed on the receipt and who's counting the takings. That's the whole job. If that's worth something to you, subscribe and hit that hype button if the app's putting one in front of you. Every hype shoves this video in front of another Australian who's been quietly overpaying and has no idea there's an independent number that proves it. Now, the one where Aldi loses, number 4, where the maths turns on Aldi. September 2024. Choice drops a leg of lamb into the basket, bone in. The Sunday roast, Coles and Woolworths, dead level, $12.89 a kilo. Aldi, $13.99. Aldi came third. On the roast, a lot of families were buying for the table that Christmas. The discounter got beaten by the duopoly, clean and fair. And it's not only the lamb. Look at the fresh, brand name staples one at a time, and the story gets messier. On a loaf of wholemeal bread, Aldi has come in dearer than the same style at Woolworths. On a promoted week, plenty of individual items at the big 2 undercut it. Aldi wins the war on the basket. It does not win every single battle on every single shelf. Then there's the part the 25% headline quietly hides. When choice strips the comparison right back, home brand against home brand, like for genuine like, the gap between Aldi and Coles collapses. On one of those baskets, it came down to about $1.22, not 25%. $1.22 across the whole shop. And through 2025, as the big 2 started cutting prices to fight back, even the standard full basket gap tightened from that opening quarter down toward a few dollars on the leaner baskets. Still Aldi in front, just not the knockout the first headline promised. And the retailers have a fair point buried in here, so I'll hand it to them. The Australian Retailers Association argued that the big splashy number often compares premium national brands at Coles and Woolworths against Aldi's own cheaper labels, and that's not always apples with apples. Choice says it picks the closest comparable product it can, by size and ingredients. Both of those things can be true at once. So here's the honest read. Aldi is genuinely the cheapest full basket every quarter, and how big that win is depends heavily on what you throw in the trolley and how loyal you are to particular brands. That's 4. The math still points at Aldi. It just doesn't always point as hard as the poster says. If that lamb caught you off guard, drop a 4 in the comments. I want to see how many of you made it all the way to the one part the Aldi is always cheapest crowd conveniently forgets to mention. Number 3. What cheapest quietly costs you? Cheapest on the basket is not the same as best for your whole life, and pretending otherwise would make this channel exactly like the ones I can't stand. 3 honest catches. 1. You can't actually do a full shop at Aldi. Around 1,800 products means the specific things you want run out or were never stocked. Even Choice admits that committed Aldi shoppers still duck into a Coles or a Woolies for the brands and the lines Aldi simply doesn't carry. Say Aldi saves you $15 on the base shop, but the three brands you can't get send you into Woolworths afterwards and you drop $40 there anyway. The saving is still real, it's just smaller than the headline and it costs you an extra half hour and a second car park. 2. Aldi isn't everywhere. There is no Aldi in Tasmania. None in the Northern Territory. Just over 600 stores across 5 states, against the thousands of Coles and Woolworths sites blanketing the country. If you live regional, just shop at Aldi can mean an hour each way in the car. And the cheapest basket in the country is no saving at all when you've burned $20 of petrol to reach it. 3. The brands. If you're loyal to one particular coffee, one particular nappy, one particular anything, Aldi may not stock it, and its own label version is a different product with a different taste. That's a genuine trade-off, not a con. But it's yours to make with your eyes open, not one to pretend doesn't exist. That's 3. Aldi wins the maths. It does not win everyone's week. Now, the specials, and then the twist that changes the whole video. Number 2. The specials game, and the number Aldi will never put on a poster. Here's where Coles and Woolworths punch back, and it's worth understanding properly. Aldi's price is the same, whether there's a special on or not. The model barely does promotions at all. The big two, on the other hand, live on half-price cycles, and on a specific item, in a specific week, a Coles or Woolworths half-price special absolutely can beat Aldi. If you're the kind of shopper who lives by the catalogue and only buys what's marked down that week, you can play that game and win on those items, but it almost never flips the whole basket. Choice actually measures it both ways, with every special counted and without. And here's the quiet part. Turning the specials on barely dents the result. Remember that Christmas shop? Even with everything the big two could throw at it, Aldi was still nearly $30 ahead on the full trolley. Specials chip at the edge. They don't move the wall. Now the honest grenade, and I'm throwing it because it protects everything else I've told you. Aldi is the cheapest. Aldi is also, according to the regulator, the chain that put its prices up the fastest of the three between 2022 and 2024. Cheapest and rising quickest are not a contradiction. You can start lowest and still climb hardest of all. So if anyone tells you Aldi is your mate, remember, Aldi is a business. It is chasing a margin like the rest of them, and the regulator has the receipts on that too. That's 2. Which brings us to the part that reframes this entire video. Number 1, the cheapest supermarket in Australia is also one of the richest on earth. Everything up to here says the same comforting thing. Shop at Aldi, beat the duopoly, win, and it's true. But here's the twist the good guy videos never reach. The regulator ran the full numbers on all 3, Aldi, Coles, Woolworths, and concluded they appear to be among the most profitable supermarket businesses on the planet. Its exact words, their profit margins are among the highest of supermarket businesses in relevant comparator countries. Coles alone posted an operating margin above 5%. That sounds small until you realise most supermarkets around the world would kill for it, on the razor-thin economics of selling milk and bread. So sit with what you actually win when you choose Aldi. You found the most efficient operator inside a market the regulator openly calls an oligopoly, a market where, in its own assessment, the big two have limited reason to compete hard with each other on price. Cheaper than the duopoly is a low bar. The duopoly built that bar, and you can measure how much that bar matters by watching the giants scramble. In the last couple of years, Woolworths has gone out and cut the shelf price on hundreds of everyday products. Coles has run campaign after campaign, slashing hundreds more. Ask yourself why two companies that comfortable, that dominant, that profitable suddenly rediscover the urge to drop prices. It isn't generosity. It's a small German discounter sitting in the car park and the fear of you finally working out the difference. That fear is close to the only thing keeping your groceries from being dearer than they already are. And here's the tension I'll leave you holding, because 2 official bodies looked at the very same industry and walked away disagreeing. The competition regulator, in its final report, never once used the phrase price gouging and did not find that it happened. The Senate committee that examined supermarket prices reached the opposite mood entirely. It said the answer to whether gouging is going on seems to be a resounding yes. I'm not going to tell you which one is right. I can't. And notice that the body with the full data, the one that could compel the documents, was the more cautious of the two. What I can tell you is the fact sitting underneath both of them. Grocery prices in this country are up around 24% in 5 years. The cheapest trolley in Australia is cheaper, relative to the others, than it used to be, and dearer than it used to be, full stop. Both things, again, at once. That's number one. The maths doesn't lie. It just refuses to say the simple thing the poster wants it to. So here's the honest playbook, because there is genuinely money in this for you. Do your base shop, the staples, the boring middle of the trolley at Aldi. On a full basket, every quarterly survey since 2024 says you come out in front, and on the big entertaining shops that lead runs to real money. Then learn the exceptions: Cold, the Roast, the Loyal Brand, the half price cycle at Coles or Woolies. Those are the exact moments the big two win. And now you know to check the ticket instead of assuming. Aldi itself claims it saved Australian shoppers around $3.4 billion in a single year, and that the average family saves somewhere near $2,500 a year by shopping there. By its own more recent numbers, run by a different firm again, it puts the gap at close to 17%. Take all of that as the company talking, not gospel. Those are Aldi's own figures, run by Aldi's own consultants. But the independent number, Choice's number, the one the government paid for, points in the very same direction, even if it shrinks once you compare like for like. Because the point of this channel was never to tell you what to put in your trolley. It's to make sure that when you hand over the money, you know exactly what that money's doing and who's counting it. The cheapest supermarket in Australia is Aldi. The maths proves it every quarter. And the same maths proves the whole aisle, the cheapest one included, is doing just fine off the back of your receipt. You're not paying for what you think you're paying for. You never were. So tell me, are you an Aldi shopper feeling a little smug right now? Or one of the two-thirds still handing 67 cents of every dollar to the big two? Drop it below. Half of you are nodding along. Half of you are already typing to defend your local Woolies. I want to see that comment section. And if this was worth the 20-odd minutes, hit like, hit the hype button, and subscribe. We read the fine print so you don't have to.